Flock Nation, happy Wednesday to you and yours. Happy holidays from us here inside the vault. It is Wednesday, December 18th. It's officially week 16 of this NFL regular season. And of course, that means it's a rematch of the rivalry, Sarah. Ravens and Steelers will battle it out at 4:30 on Saturday here in Baltimore inside the bank. And that is what we are working towards. Welcome inside a Homage Wednesday. I'm Bobby Trossett, as always, joined alongside Sarah Ellison. You know the drill. If you want to be eligible for a free Homage t-shirt giveaway, all you have to do, as you see right now as a pinned comment in the live chat, if you're with us on YouTube, 1, subscribe to the vault and like this specific video. 2, leave a super chat with the hashtag vault. The hashtag has to be included so that Sarah and I can randomly assign a winner later on. And 3, click on the link that we have included in a couple different places. 1, in that pinned comment, and 2, at the top of the show notes, which brings you to our specific landing page at homage.com. So we'll get to those super chats as we go. There's already one sitting in there waiting for us. But partner, as I just messaged my Discord group right before we came on, I said, look, I might be biased, but I think today's show is going to be electric. I might be a little bit biased, but you and I are more than prepared. We are over-prepared, and we're ready to roll on this Wednesday. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Also on this Wednesday, I'm sporting my Homage Lamar Jackson t-shirt, and you've got on your throwback crew neck sweatshirt. And the reason, though, why, Bobby, I brought out Lamar Jackson, because this is a massive, massive week for him. And I feel like I have been driving the Lamar Jackson MVP train, and I feel like some people are jumping aboard. I'm the engine, and I just keep getting more cars piling on. I get a sense since Monday, everybody's like, oh, the MVP race is over. I get a sense there's a change in the winds, Bobby. There's a change in the winds. And who else to join me? Oh, there's lots of guys. But why don't we start with one, Jon Gruden?
They are balanced. They can slam it at you with Henry. They have an array of very good receivers and tight ends, and Justice Hill's a great receiving back. But Lamar Jackson is putting together his best body of work that I have seen. It's really incredible, his statistics based on any NFL standard that you've looked at. He's got 3,580 yards passing, 34 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. I mean, the only 2 guys that I could find that threw over 30 touchdowns and less than 5 interceptions was Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. So that's the kind of class that Lamar Jackson is throwing the ball with. And when you combine that with 743 yards rushing and 3 more touchdowns, good God, how is he not the MVP? I mean, it's going to be a shame. Somebody's not going to win it. But Lamar has played superb football.
And that is courtesy of Jon Gruden's YouTube channel. If you have not already checked him out on this platform, please do. He is exceptional. And I'm sure it's only a matter of time until his phone's going to be ringing, Sarah, for another head coaching opportunity. You want to know who agrees with him? Oh, just a guy that's eligible for Canton and the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and a former Baltimore Raven in T-Sizzle, Terrell Suggs, who's like, chill, please. It's not even close. And you have the graphic attached here in terms of the statistical breakdown between 2 of the front-runner candidates right now. And that is, of course, Lamar and Josh Allen.
And look at this, the only place where Josh Allen leads in all these stats is record, and record matters. I wouldn't say otherwise. But as I mentioned earlier, that's why you got to let the season play out. If Lamar Jackson is able to lead the Ravens to a 3 seed, I'm sorry, if Josh Allen ends as a 2 seed, does that not overcome the historic season that Lamar is having. So yes, record matters. That's why Joe Burrow's out. But if one ends up as a 3 seed and the other is a 2 seed, that is not the deciding factor. Lamar leads in all these categories well, not all of them, but he's leading. I was going to say he's leading all of them in a landslide. He's not leading all of them in a landslide, but in some of them he is. So I don't want to hear that it's record if one ends up as a 2 seed and the other is a 3 seed.
And I'll rattle them off real quick just for those of you in the audio-only audience. Total yards so far through 15 weeks. Lamar leads Josh, 4,323 total yards for Lamar, 3,886 for Josh. They each have 37 total touchdowns, an area that has been an Achilles heel for Josh in the past, particularly last year, was giveaways, was interceptions, just turnovers in general. He's got just 5 this year, but Lamar's got 3. And Sarah, as we've covered in recent weeks, none of them were his fault. It was his target's fault. Completion percentage, Lamar 68.1 to Josh's 64.4. The passer rating, which we're going to get to in just a bit, because again, there's so many aspects to what Lamar's doing this year that it feels crazy to say this, but maybe just perhaps are a bit underrated. And I think the passer rating discussion hasn't been talked about enough. We're going to tell you the significance of this number, but it's 120.7 average pass through 15 weeks, through the roof. And there's a significant difference between his and Josh's. And it's not to say, again, we're not putting down Josh at all. It's 103.5 for Josh. Now, the 2 areas, as you mentioned, one that's on the screen that Josh leads Lamar over. 1, record. He's 11-3. The Ravens right now 9-5, with still an opportunity to win the AFC North if you win out. There's other scenarios involved as well, based on what Pittsburgh does, but that's one of the 2. The other 2, rushing touchdowns. Well, of course, Lamar doesn't need to be a rushing touchdown guru this year, because Sarah, he's got a guy in his backfield that's a future Hall of Famer in Derrick Henry.
And that's a big difference. When they're on the 1 yard line, they go with Josh Allen. When the Ravens are on the 1 yard line, they go with the king. So either way, even though he's gotten those easy ones, it's still a tie in total touchdowns at 37 apiece. And you mentioned the passer rating. Bobby, it is at a historic pace right now. Through 15 weeks, Lamar, as we mentioned, is 120.7. That ranks 4th all time. But only the 3rd person, because Aaron Rodgers has 2, where he leads 1st and 2nd with 122.5 and 121.5. Peyton Manning 121.1. Lamar is like that passer rating is unreal. And as we're talking about Aaron Rodgers, who is a 4-time MVP, who leads this list both in the 1 spot and the 2nd spot, he also wants to say, don't gloss over Lamar Jackson's season.
MVP back-to-back years, knows how hard that is. Can we just not gloss over what Lamar's doing?
Amen.
I mean, can we not? Like, he has, I think, 34 touchdown passes, I believe.
Yep.
And just, 3 INTs, I believe.
Yep.
And he's, he's flirting with the all-time single-season passer rating record. This is from a guy who was just a runner, right? He could just run. That's all he can do, right? Just run. I love watching Lamar play, and love to see his continual growth and how he changes the game. I mean, obviously he's so dynamic, but he's really become such an elite passer of the football. Let's not just gloss over this. He's having a ridiculous year. A lot of times, it comes down to record, right, wrong, or indifferent.
Sarah, I really trimmed that down. It was probably 3 or 4 minutes worth of dialogue surrounding this debate, and it has become a debate. And I think the McAfee crew was trying to get his perspective on what he thinks goes into a voter's mind, right? And so, or a voter's vote. And he talked about a number of things. He did not shy away whatsoever from the friendship that he has with Josh. And I think there's a lot of people around the media cycle. I think Orlovsky is one of them as well. These guys know Josh personally. They are fans of Josh. But as RG3 has said, as some folks on Get Up said this morning, and a number of other, including you on the front lines, have reminded everybody, it's not a 15-week award. And so Aaron acknowledged that. He says, hey, Josh, as the sports books suggest right now, is the front runner, is the guy who's in a good position to win this award. But Lamar, as we know, has several opportunities, particularly on Saturday against his bitter rival, and a standalone opportunity, much like he had last year on Christmas night in San Francisco, this time coming up in Houston. He was also very complimentary of what Saquon Barkley is doing, of course, with Philadelphia. And should he make a run over the next couple of weeks at the Dickerson single season record, that's going to have to come part of the conversation as well, while also acknowledging that this has become a quarterback award because of it being a quarterback driven league. So really good stuff. You can go find that full interview. It's on Twitter everywhere, and you can go to the McAfee show if you want to listen to the full Aaron Rodgers interview.
What I appreciated from Aaron Rodgers there is the same thing, Bobby, that I try to do on the show. He's not trying to hide his bias, right? there are so many journalists who pretend to be objective and they really have an agenda underneath. And then there are some guys that actually are objective. I would put Jeff Zrebeck in that bucket, but to hit that level of being actually objective, it's hard to get there. And most people claim to be objective and actually aren't. And so he's like, look, Josh is my friend. I'm the same way here. Look, I worked for the Ravens for 13 years. I know the people in there. I know these players. Like, it's hard for me to be totally objective. So you put out your bias up front, but then also say, here's my analysis of it. And so you can put those two things right there. And so I'm happy that he admitted that. Dan Orlovsky is an MVP voter. That's a little bit different. He's got to put that friendship aside. He's got to put that friendship aside and not root for Josh Allen, which is the impression he kind of gave off when he tried to call this thing over with 3 weeks to go. And one other thing, and I'll say it again, Aaron Rodgers is absolutely right. Record matters. That's why let's finish this thing out. There's 3 games to go. Josh has a 2-game lead, but there's 3 games left to go.
As you continue to hear the greats, the Tom Bradys, the Aaron Rodgers, so on and so forth, the Steve Youngs speak about Lamar so glowingly, it's just so significant. You heard him sneak that in there. He goes, I love to watch Lamar play the game. I love to watch him continue to change the game. And that is so representative of what a lot of these GOATs view Lamar as.
Well, and Tom Brady, we didn't have time to bring this in because there's so many clips. But Tom Brady talked about his players of the week. And yes, Lamar was or stars of the week. And Lamar was one of them. Josh Allen was not. Josh had a fantastic game, so he could have been in there. But you're right. Like, it's just another point of a great talking about him and how good he is. Now, there's another that's a great, but it's his teammate. And he came at it a little bit more passionately. And that's one Kyle Van Noy that you picked up from his show.
Had a hell of a day. 5 tugs. Looked like an MVP. I don't know what the hell these talking pundits are talking about. The race is over. I know, Josh Allen is balling right now. Deservedly so, he should get talks, but let's pipe it down a little bit. LJ's hooping still. I know Josh Allen's beat a couple teams, but LJ, we did beat them as a team, and LJ balled in that game. So that's got to be a little bit in there. How people forget is kind of crazy. But anyways.
That's courtesy of Yahoo Sports and the McCoy and Van Noy show. Gerald McCoy, Kyle Van Noy. And you heard it there. I don't know what the hell these pundits are talking about. The race is over. Let's pipe it down a little bit. LJ's hooping still. And Sarah, he is former teammates with Dan Orlovsky, and he said he's a big fan of Dan, but he actually he called him out. He's like, look, come on, man. The race is not over. This is a 17-game, 18-week season evaluation, and Lamar's got a couple more big opportunities, as we've already discussed, coming up here in the next 2 weeks.
I wanted to bring up here one more slide as we are considering all this. Let's just not forget passer rating, as we've talked about, number 1. Yards per pass attempt, number 1. Pass TD percentage, number 1. Touchdown to interception differentiation, 1. Drop back EPA. A lot of Buffalo Bills fans came at me and be like, oh, you're just looking at stats that don't matter. What about efficiency stats? Okay, we can do that too. Drop back EPA, number 1. Pass and rush touchdowns, number 1. Tied, obviously. Red zone passer rating, number 1. Rush yards per carry average, number 1. Rush and pass yards combined, number 1. Passing touchdowns, number 2. Interception percentage, number 2. And passing yards, number 5. Oh, and by the way, he's 108 yards of passing Michael Vick for the most quarterback rushing yards in history.
Yeah, to pass him, he'll need 109. To tie him, it'll be 108. And that's what's at stake over the next 3 weeks. You'd like to think that just maybe, prior to the regular season, there will be a new all-time leader in that category, Sarah. And to think that this is his 7th NFL season, it'll be his 101st career start. 100 was this past week, is pretty freaking remarkable. He turns 28 in January next month. And this is somebody that is an elite company. And look at this. Games with 5+ passing touchdowns since 2019. Lamar leads the way with 6 such contests. The next closest, Mahomes with 4, Russ and Tom Brady with 3, and Joe Burrow with 2. Nobody has done 5 of those games. So Lamar leads the pack by 2.
And I think that kind of sums up yet again. We are beating the drum hard. This race is not over. We want to bring everybody into it. And that brings us to some of your super chats. Bobby, I might take a couple here. I'll start from the bottom and then I'll hand them over to you after I do a couple here. Juicebox J84 says ESPN West Palm host Theo trash Josh MVP case #vault. Pinky, thank you for keeping me company on my drive to New York. #Ravens. You got to put a #vault to be entered into the Homage t-shirt giveaway. Lee says an NFL MVP doesn't throw 9 of 30. #vault. Who did that?
I think Josh at one point.
Okay.
I can't remember the game, but
let us know. Osmodius says, yo, Bobby, see you Saturday. Let's beat the Squealers. #vault. And then I assume, okay, so he's trailing up to the game and you're going to do your pregame show, correct?
Richard's coming up from Virginia, and I'll be at the Be More Around Town tailgate lot, which is at 801 West Austin Street. Come on out, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, right up until kickoff.
Beautiful. Phil Black says, interesting how in the past media would use passing stats only when comparing LJ with other QBs. Now total stats, yards, touchdowns, and even turnovers are being used because it keeps Josh Allen in the conversation. They definitely should combine it all. I hate it when I go to like ESPN or NFL or PFR or any of them, and you got to go over here for passing, and then you got to go over here and get rushing, and then add them together. They need to have both right next to each other, passing, running, total. Put them all together. But to Phil's point, he feels like just now they're adding it in when it's actually helping Josh because he has so many rushing touchdowns and not helping Lamar as much. I feel like people have edited in the past, but those who are against Lamar definitely take him out. Joey H says, Josh won one game where he threw 0 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, and another win where he threw for 139 yards and 1 touchdown. And now that context matters, which is why I always bring in the quarterback betrayal index, where Lamar's having to overcome or had to overcome a bad defense that's improving, but still Justin Tucker, we don't know where he's at. Jemmy93 says, need that Henry stiff arm on Queen. #vault. Yes, sir. Ian Wicks, Lamar needs 2 monster games to win MVP, both with big audiences, and Josh needs to drop a game. All 3 of his are divisional matchups, so cross your fingers. I agree with your first part, Ian. I don't know that Josh needs to drop a game. If Lamar's game against the Giants meant nothing, a Jackson 5 meant nothing against the Giants, then fine. Whatever he does against the Pats, Jets, and Pats again should mean nothing because that's the way they just treated Lamar. But it is true that Lamar needs these 2 big games. Greg Scott, is Harbs playing chess? What if the reason Voorhees and Cleveland are riding pine is because he wants Fa'alele to get experience while keeping Voorhees and Cleveland healthy for the playoffs? I appreciate the optimism. We would like to see Cleveland, but that is not happening short of an injury or a complete meltdown. Kevin Wishard says, Jackson MV3, big week for this offense. #vault. Jemmy93 again. Spider 2Y banana. #vault. You left as if you know what that meant. I do not. Tila M with the heart and black, or the purple and black hearts. #vault. There's a lot of them today. Captain Hard, mainstream media with MVP votes are doubling down on it being over. Seems to be a pity MVP agenda for Josh, and I really like him as a player, but this agenda is crazy. #vault. I'm saying this is not, MVPs are not charity. Okay. Anybody that says, oh, Lamar's had 2, give it to somebody else. Okay. MVP races are not charity awards. Okay. We can give charity in other ways, but we don't do it with the MVP race. And Justin Drinkwalter says, not able to watch live today. Can't wait to see the Angry Runs XLW when I watch the video later. #vault. Did he win? The Angry Runs?
I don't know, but I love the fact that I think he might be trying to speak it into existence.
Well,
he dropped his comment in and then left.
Yeah. I watched the Angry Run segment without the winner declared, and the way, what's his name that does it?
Kyle Brandt.
The way he was explaining, he's like, I was about to have Lamar in, but then the Titans offensive lineman. Remember when he grabbed he stripped a ball and then he went running and then he just bulldozed over people. I think Lamar would have won on any other week, but that dude just started bulldozing people. Hold on. We got a couple more here. Josh Allen, Sod Blitz says Josh Allen only has 36 total touchdowns. He's getting credit for 2 TDs on one play. I have to look into that. Gary Eaton, the Ravens will blow the Steelers out. Hashtag Vault. Sherry, how's it going? Not going to lie, this game got me nervous. Hashtag Vault. And Robert Smith, statistically, Lamar is having an all-time season at QB and is superior to Josh Allen in all stats this season, including a win over him. Bills only have 3 wins against the 6 teams with winning records they played this year.
Is Sod referring to the lateral? The Amari Cooper lateral, maybe? That could be what he's referring to. So, anyway.
Did they give him 2 for that?
I'm just thinking, I haven't watched obviously as much Bills as we do Ravens every single week, but something tells me that could be related to it.
Okay. More super chats keep coming in. I'll give 2 more and then we'll move on. The Mitchell fam, the Ravens just need to take this time to get ready due to this is our first time we go into the chip regular and not sitting up waiting plus no KFC. I read it the way you do, Bob.
Isn't it great when they come in like that? We're going to read them as they come in.
Lamar Wright Jr. Lamar will dominate Saturday and will be MVP front runner. Hashtag MV3, hashtag Vault. There you go.
They are flying in right now. We've got 22 super chats, but remember, not all 22 of you are going to be randomly in this drawing for the free Homage t-shirt giveaway because not everybody's added in the hashtag Vault. That is how you are randomly selected. You have to have that in the super chat. So thank you regardless. But
Yes.
If you want to be in the giveaway, hit that hashtag Vault at the end, at the beginning, wherever, at some point in that super chat. We appreciate you guys for being here. And that gives us a chance here briefly to thank Homage for this opportunity. We've just re-upped with them. And for the next several weeks, we're going to be doing Wednesday Homage t-shirt giveaways. Now, programming alert, we're not doing that a week from today. We have enough going on Christmas Day that comes when it comes to work and family, being that they play at 4:30. But Sarah, we will be doing that giveaway on Friday if I'm not mistaken. So anyway, when you go over to homage.com and you use the link that's included as a pinned comment on YouTube, it's also in the show notes. That's our specific landing page. And of course, there's Ravens gear alike that you can choose from. Where's your shirt? And by the way, I know you have this one right here, the Angry Run shirt. But you just did a big haul yesterday. Care to share anything that you chose?
I grabbed 3 more Ravens items, and then I got 2 more Christmas items. So I got the this one right here. Go down
right now.
That's what you're wearing. Oh,
yep, that's what I'm wearing.
I
right
have
now,
that too, by the way. These are very comfortable, very soft.
Yep.
But I grabbed that one right there. You just went over it. This crew neck, the gray crew neck.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And I did that with the matching joggers because I love my purple matching sweatshirt and joggers. Yeah, because I got those. And then right now I'm sporting a Lamar one. I don't know if you've seen those yet. Lamar Blitz. Yeah, there's the Lamar Blitz that I have on right now. There we go. Yeah.
Your collection is getting deep and deep. I love it. I got to get on here as well.
Oh, and the 2 Christmas ones I got, by the way, they're so good. I got a gray crew neck in red lettering that says, "Merry Christmas, you filthy animal." Okay. And the other one I got was a red hoodie that I can't remember what it says on there. Something like Merry Christmas, but I wanted a red hoodie.
Well, as a reminder, it's not just Ravens gear on here as well. So if you guys are doing some last minute gift giving, maybe it's a great opportunity to hop on here. I did want to mention one thing.
NHL, all of that.
Yeah. Licensing across all professional sports for the most part. They are running a 10% off e-gift card promotion. So again, it's a 10% off e-gift card. So if you want to just go the easy route, I know I'm always looking for the easy way out sometimes when it comes to last minute gift giving. Maybe that's an area that you look at. And by the way, it's not just sports gear too. Like if you're not looking for a specific logo or a team attached to this stuff, like look at all this. Go-to tees and tanks, sweatshirts and hoodies. I mean, it's that time of year, right? So if we were to go to like sweatshirts and hoodies section, this is all like non-branded stuff. I mean, it's Homage branded, but you're not seeing any team-related stuff. This is nice stuff. I think this is where I'm going to use my credit, Sarah. I was just thinking that through yesterday. Sarah and I both have credits through our partnership. So long story short, we want to continue to thank Homage for the support that they're giving us. And we hope that you'll join us for the next several Wednesdays, including today, to enter in. And I love when a red slide pops across. I'll let you take it. That's a big boy.
Listen, I was going to move on from super chats, but John wants to be heard. Okay. We love you, John. John paid $100 to get his super chat up on the screen. So I will read this. John says Lamar has better stats, carries, hard knocks, makes more money. Oh, by the way, we didn't even bring in any of the Hard Knocks stuff. There was like a Hard Knocks. I watched that last night. Hard Knocks makes more money for the NFL, has more memorable moments, and whooped Josh head to head. What are we talking about? Tom Brady calling Saturday nationally. Yup. Unimportant. Netflix Christmas. But chest pass, that didn't count. Allen MVP. What the F?
You guys crack me up,
And
man.
since we got Josh in, let me just get in the two that came in before him. Gabe says Tez equals Ted Ginn Jr. Deep threat with some drops. And Greg again. No, this is Greg, not Gabe. Greg says, how comfy are those t-shirts? #vault. They're all very soft. They're all very soft. It feels more soft in the sweatshirts, maybe because it's like long sleeved and whatnot. But like, I have to say, Homage stuff is really soft. Like, it's super comfortable.
I agree. This crew neck is awesome. And then Saad just confirmed what I was alluding to a minute ago, that Josh did receive credit for a passing and a receiving touchdown.
Oh, so that 37 includes a receiving touchdown? That's crazy if that's the case.
Saad, we'd have to go check that. We'll trust you on the fact check there, but it's pretty filthy play. That's for sure.
Yeah. Major says #vault Josh's Lamar from last season. We passed that. No, that's not true. Don't buy the propaganda. Dak had better stats than Lamar, not Josh. Dak did. If anybody has a problem with the stats, it would be Cowboys fans, not Bills fans. Josh and Lamar were like neck and neck doing different ones, but Josh got demolished because he had 18 interceptions. That's not how it went down. Don't buy the Bills Mafia propaganda. That's not what happened. Dak lost it because he just melted down at the end of the season, but he's the one that had better stats. Just wanted to put that out there.
Did we get Gary up here yet?
Lamar will lead MVP after this game. #vault. I think that he was the last one.
And you got Henry Wright Jr. Lamar will dominate and will be MVP front runner. #MV3. #vault.
I think so. Yeah.
You guys are flying in right now.
Jeez
We got
Louise.
36 super chats.
Okay, let's move on, and we'll come back and know that Gary was the last one when we come back. Okay.
Yeah, we do. Okay. Let's just do a quick little reset. We appreciate you guys for being here. Coming up on 2,000 concurrents. And of course, we're gearing up for the rematch, Ravens-Steelers. And it's simple, right? If the Steelers win, they take the division. If the Ravens win, well, another chance towards increasing their chances of taking the division. And as you tweeted out, Baltimore clinches a playoff berth. Just we're talking about postseason in general. Let's put the AFC North aside for a second. This weekend with winning or tying, and 2, a Dolphins loss or tie, and a Colts loss or tie. So 2 scenarios where they can clinch a playoff berth this weekend. Winning or tying against Pittsburgh, and then the other 2, which could be one or the other. Yeah. Or it has to be both. It has to be a Dolphins loss or a tie on top of the Ravens win, plus a Colts loss or tie.
No, it's either Baltimore clinches a playoff berth by winning or tying, period. But they can, even if they lose, they could still get a playoff berth with a Miami loss and an Indianapolis loss.
All right, so you need one or the other. I got it. So it could be one or the other. I got you.
Correct. Now, if you want to talk about the AFC North odds, currently the Steelers have a 71% chance of winning the AFC North. Obviously, if they win on Saturday, then they clinch it. 100%, it's theirs. But if they lose and the Ravens win, then their chances go down to 56%. They'd still have to lose another, and the Ravens still win 2 more. So those are what the odds are going into this game. And if you think that it's putting stress on one Zay Flowers, knowing the magnitude of this game, knowing that the Steelers have won 8 of the last 9. Do you think he's stressed out? Nah, he's not feeling that.
I think we always have, I feel like, turnovers, missed kicks, like stuff like that during the game. So if we do eliminate those, and because we move the ball downfield, I know you see that, right? We move the ball downfield, we get across the 50, you know what I'm saying? So, we just got to take care of the ball, make kicks, and try to put the ball in the end zone.
What do they do you've obviously only played him twice, and you had 7 catches, I think, on 17 targets, and 1 touchdown in there. What did they do that stresses you, that's difficult for you or for receivers in general?
They don't really do nothing that really stresses me, if I'm being honest. It just, you have some games, and it ended up being that game. So we'll figure it out when we get there. This week we got them, so I'm looking forward to that.
Was there more?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Key meeting today is fiery. Does it feel different, the Steelers, because it's the Steelers?
Of course, because it's a rival. It's a rival. It's always going to be like that, no matter what team got a rival, what rivalry it is. If you got a rival in your division and you ain't going to go out there and want to play soft, you got to make sure everybody fired up and ready to go, make sure everybody got their minds on right, their head locked in. So it's always going to be like that.
So, yeah, a little bit of everything in that clip. 3 different answers to 3 different questions. But again, you heard Brian Wacker try to ask him, hey, what do the Steelers do that stresses you, that's difficult for you? And he interjected, he's like, nothing. They don't really do nothing that stresses me, if I'm being honest. And Sarah, you got that mean mugging look on his face, right?
Yeah.
Well, here are the numbers in 2 career games against Pittsburgh. 7 receptions on 17 targets, 112 yards receiving. And he did score a touchdown the first time these 2 teams met last month in November. One thing that Pittsburgh has done really well over the years, not just contain Lamar, but contain Mark Andrews. Sarah, he has not scored a touchdown in 10 career games. So look, 7 catches on 17 receptions, not the best, not the best percentage wise. Zay's going to have a big game here, and he's talking very, very confidently, maybe even providing just the slightest bit of bulletin board material.
Well, talk your talk, Zay. And if they want to put more attention on Zay, then that'll open things up for Mark, right? And so if they put all of their attention on Mark, which is both what the Steelers and Chiefs do, then that means Zay is going to have to come up in a big way, along with big play bait. We can use a couple of those, and Isaiah Likely. So that's great. They're not stressing him out, so he's got to come up big. Now, meanwhile, the other person that obviously has to come up big is Lamar Jackson. He was asked earlier this week about if it bothers him about his record against the Steelers, and he's like, well, losing in general bothers me. And the folks on Get Up this morning, they were talking about how the Steelers have had the Ravens number and why they think they need that Lamar needs a massive game.
I think for me, if the Ravens have underperformed to what we've expected and the Steelers have outperformed our expectations, Lamar Jackson they have to win this game. If you talk about how great a season it is, it's all this, you got to go beat the Steelers. You're 1-4 against the Steelers. We talk about pressure games and playoffs. This is a playoff game. They better look at it that way, because they have underwhelmed everybody this season.
It does feel like there's a lot of pressure on them to put themselves in position to have a chance at this division.
Right.
And there's a lot of pressure on Lamar in this situation, because this is the story about Lamar so far. It's like he's the best version we've ever seen. His numbers this year are insane, but the story is you can't do it against the Steelers. So This is a chance for him to do it. And they stopped him by blitzing. They stopped him by not blitzing. They seem to have his number in some way or another.
Bobby, is it possible for these guys to both be true and also a little dramatic? Right? Like, for sure, I mean, the 1-4 record of Lamar against the Steelers isn't great. And it's not like we've seen him do to the Steelers what we watched him do against the Giants or, any of those other Jackson 5s that he's put up. But we also shouldn't have those expectations against the Steelers. Like, this is an in-division rivalry. But I also think it's slightly dramatic because, but true at the same time, because Lamar hasn't played great. But also, let's not forget Kyle P. Barber, he outlined it very well. Lamar Jackson has only played the Steelers at home once. So you go back to the beginning of his rookie year. In 2018, he didn't start at home against the Steelers. In 2019, doesn't count because it was week 18 and the Ravens already secured the number 1 spot. In 2020, there was a 4-point loss. That was the COVID year. And didn't they play? Wasn't that a week they played on Wednesday too? Was that the game that they had ended up having to play Wednesday because of COVID?
That rings a bell.
I wonder if that's what it was. I don't know if somebody in the chat can look that up for us. Anyway, 2021 and 2022, he's obviously injured. Then 2023, again, week 18, the number 1 seed was already secured, so it didn't count. So he's had 1 home game against them. And so he's gone over to the Steelers, a tough place to play. Usually you split with your rival at home and away. And so it's true. I'm not trying to say he has played well against them. I don't think he has. But at the same time, I want to see him at home and ready to go.
Yeah, it's interesting. I look back at this first game they played in November that I referenced a minute ago. You know, the Ravens, that was exhibit A of a game that they beat themselves. You know, 12 penalties. The first time these two teams played. You know, it was exhibit A. Yeah, 18-16 was the final. Steelers didn't even put forth 1 touchdown. It took 6 Chris Boswell field goals to get it done, right? Justin Tucker had a rough day. The Ravens were penalized 12 times for 80 yards. They were absolutely dominated in time of possession, losing that battle by nearly 13 minutes. They were 4 for 11 on 3rd down. I mean, just 3 turnovers. Lamar played poorly. Justin played poorly. Now, I don't think that's been the case throughout all 5 of these games that Lamar's played in where he has a 1-4 record.
Mm-hmm.
But certainly coming off this week 11 matchup last month, it definitely was.
And I will say this. Okay, given what you pointed out with the first game this season in Pittsburgh with the penalties and obviously Justin Tucker missing 2 field goals in a 2-point loss. Okay, it has a massive impact. And here's the reality of the situation. It's unfair, but this is the reality. Lamar Jackson needs to play so well that he doesn't even put Justin Tucker in the conversation this week. Like, that's going to have to be the reality. I don't know if Justin has bounced back. Maybe he has. But last week against the Giants, way easier to do against the Giants than the Steelers. He didn't even give Justin the chance to show that he's bounced back from the bye. And so Justin went out there and he kicked 5 extra points, which is good because he's missed some extra points. But if you want to beat the Steelers, what these guys on Get Up were saying is right, is like, it is a lot of pressure, not on just the Ravens, but it is on Lamar because nobody's going to give him the excuses. Like, they're just saying he's 1-4, right? They're not saying, well, Justin Tucker missed 2 field goals in a 2-point game. So that's the reality of the situation. The other reality of the situation is that I right now feel way more confident in Lamar than I do in Justin Tucker. So not only does Lamar need to think this way, but John Harbaugh and Todd Monken needs to think this way. This cannot be a field goal game. You cannot view this as a field goal game. You cannot view this this cannot be where you guys are within 1 score of each other heading into the 4th quarter. You can't do that because the Steelers, that's their formula. We're not going to make any mistakes. We're going to keep it close, and we're just going to pounce whenever you make the mistake. The Ravens will make mistakes because they're mistake-prone this year with all those penalties. So you've got to think touchdown, 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 and take field goals out of the equation. And that's a lot of pressure on Lamar. I understand that that's asking a lot of him, and I understand that that's not fair to ask that of him. But that's the reality of the situation. That's the strategy that they have to go in order to beat the Steelers and keep the AFC North division hopes alive.
Well, at the end of the day, too, from a national perspective, you know they're going to for right or for wrong, they're going to focus on the macro part of this discussion when it comes to Lamar's struggles, right? We're going to focus on the micro here, like I just rattled off, and you ripped off the Justin details, and I ripped off all the self-inflicted details from that Week 11 loss. And so, again, if that's how it's going to be, then to your point, Lamar has to keep this within control. He has to be the reason why this goes the opposite way and why they keep Pittsburgh, at least for another week, away from winning this AFC North. One thing that's for sure as well, there is a heightened sense of urgency. Just ask the longest tenured defensive player. It's Steelers week.
Game at some point this week. after practice. But that's got to be the message. You know, I feel like in the past there's been a lot more talk about it. Defensive meeting today was a little fiery. Team meeting was a little fiery, but it's just going to build this week, and it'll get talked about it. I think, you know, some people got a taste of it. It's a couple skirmishes in the last game, but no, this is big. This means a lot to a lot of people. It means a lot to me being here for a long time, and if you don't understand, the message will be very clear as the week goes on.
If you don't understand, the message will be very clear as the week goes on. Sarah, this is a team that has lost 4 straight to its rival and 8 of the last 9. The longest tenured defensive player is Marlon Humphrey on this team, and you can bet that he will be highly vocal throughout the next several days in preparation.
Good. I'm glad that they had a fiery meeting. I'm glad of it. I want to hear it. I want them to be ticked. I want them to have so much motivation. I want them going in wanting to prove a point while also being loose. Like, don't let them come into Baltimore and bully you around. This is not happening. Okay. Go out there and take the game out of their hands by score. And here's the other thing. Speaking of Marlon Humphrey and the defense, here's what the Ravens do have going for them. And it is an improved defense. And how did that happen? This was a great quote yesterday, Bobby. Marlon Humphrey was talking about how they've been able to turn things around. And he's like, but if I had to rank them, he's like, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things we've changed. And we've talked about them from, you know, Tre'Davious White getting more snaps on outside corner instead of Stevens. We've talked about Ardarius Washington taking over for Williams. We've talked about Dean Pease coming in. We've talked about how they've changed how they do their film watching. They do it as a group now rather than it being siloed off for different position groups. And I believe Bobby's going to go get a package from Amazon that is at the doorstep, and it is actually some equipment for his sound equipment. So he's going to go get that. But if he had to rank all of those things, what's had the biggest improvement, their biggest impact on the defense's improvement, Marlon Humphrey points to Kyle Hamilton. Listen to this.
Just pinpoint one thing, I would say it's putting Kyle back there at safety. I mean, there's been he's just, that guy's just different. His play, obviously, you guys see the play, but the communication, getting guys right. I mean, there's plays that I'm on the field, I get the call, ask Kyle, what do I do in this call? I hear Kyle give somebody else, what do they do in this call? And so he's just as good as a football player is, his smarts, how he keeps the guys calm. He's just a piece you can put in any position, but him going back to safety has seemed to really stabilize everybody else in all their spots, whether it's corners, the community, nickel, community, the backers. Rose doing so much, giving the front and everything, but I think Kyle's been able to just help us stabilize in the secondary. And to me, that's kind of been the big thing on the back end. And in the pass rush, those guys, they've come alive as well. A little bit more, kind of cage rush type deals and letting guys win their one-on-one. So it's been really a group effort to get things right. So not trying to give Kyle all the credit, but he deserves a big amount for sure.
Man, whenever this guy's paid, it's not going to be enough. Whenever he gets paid, it's not going to be enough. Marlon says that guy's just different. Him going back to safety has seemed to really stabilize everybody else in all their spots. I'm not trying to give all the credit to Kyle, but he deserves a big amount for sure. What about Coach Gruden weighing in on number 14?
You use Kyle Hamilton, number 14, creatively. I love Hamilton. He's a hell of a safety. He's a dynamic nickel corner. When they want to have a big nickel out there, he can walk in there and play linebacker in their dime package. He will knock you senseless. He's got great ability in space. He can cover.
It's fired up.
Yeah, he's so good. He's so good. But going back to the Marlon clip, my favorite part of that was he's like, I've heard guys go over to Kyle and be like, what is this? What do I do there? What do I do? And so it's like, it's not just that he's physically dominating on the field, which he is, and he's like everywhere, and you just love the way he plays. But the fact that he's now smart enough to just make sure the back end is everywhere where it's supposed to be. And what's funny is I partly attributed to less communication breakdowns because Ardarius Washington filled in for Williams, and maybe that's still part of it. But according to Marlon, it's like, nah, the biggest is that Kyle's getting everybody where they need to be. And I love that they have that for the back end. And on the front end, they have Roquan Smith. Because who was it earlier this year? There was an opponent that was like, man, number 0 just kept calling out our plays. He just kept calling out our plays. I can't remember.
Philly, Lane Johnson, maybe.
Okay.
I think it was related to Philly. Yeah.
And speaking of Roquan, real quick, and maybe we'll have time tomorrow. We just had so much content today. If you watched Hard Knocks last night, Roquan was the star for the Ravens. He was the star. Like, they followed him around. They talked with him in his car, and that's where he gave some of his classic Roquan talking, you know what, in his car, completely unafraid. And then, of course, in the game, like, he was annihilating people. Like, he's trouncing on people and, like, you know, just enveloping them. Bobby, did you ever watch Beastmaster?
No.
No, okay, that might have been before your time. I'm just envisioning the beasts coming in and just enveloping people, and that was Roquan Smith. Like, he's just jumping. He's like a WWE guy coming off the ropes, tackling people. So it's so good to know that you got Roquan who can keep the front 7 together, and then you've got Kyle who can keep the back end together, and those two guys can communicate with each other.
Yeah, it's good for Roquan that he has the security of now the back end being stabilized, which is exactly what Marlon is referencing here. And just to put a bow on this Kyle Hamilton conversation, Sarah, and hopefully I don't repeat anything you said when I went down to punch one of the thieves in the mouth downstairs in the back of my place. No, I'm just kidding. I got the I got the package safely. You know how it goes, guys. When you live in,
is it this package? Would you say?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, the new equipment that we got, and just to not to go. I don't want to get into too much of a tangent right now, but we all know city living. And then I think this is heightened right now because of the Christmas holiday season. I've had things jacked. It feels like on a weekly basis. I don't even have anything delivered here anymore. So the last couple pieces to this new and improved technology investment that I've made to essentially mirror what you have going on in Columbus just arrived. And so I ran down there to get it. But, week 11 is when this passing defense started to turn around. And when you look at the graphics, it's wow, look at where they were statistically weeks 1 through 10, and look at what they've done since week 11. And it's no coincidence that that's right around the time when Kyle was asked to go back and handle traditional back end safety duties. Mm-hmm. And since then, and then remember, the Pittsburgh game is when Eddie Jackson didn't travel. Marcus Williams, of course, didn't play. And that really has signaled that will now represent, especially we might look back at that week 11 with even more significance if they make a deep run, as the time that this defense finally took a stand. That was the moment when this defense finally put its foot down. And of course, that's been led by Ardarius and Kyle on the back end.
So that defense is going to have a major impact on this rematch in Baltimore. What also will have a major impact are these injury reports. Ravens still looking pretty healthy. Only 2-3 players, if you count Deontay Johnson, did not practice yesterday. If you don't count Deontay, then the Ravens have 2 players that didn't practice. One was Nelson Aguilar with a concussion. That is not surprising, Bobby. When he caught that pass against the Giants, he hit his head and he hit it hard, and he immediately went off the field. Like, he was like, that was my one catch for 26. I'm out of here. I hit my head. Jalen Armour-Davis, as we know, he had that hamstring prior to the game. But look at this. TJ Tampa returning to practice. He's on injured reserve. And so TJ Tampa and Jalen Armour-Davis, I feel like they keep taking turns. So we got these back end kind of cornerbacks kind of rotating, and that's fine. But TJ coming back, perhaps just in time with Jalen Armour-Davis dealing with that hamstring. Everybody else was either limited or full. Adisa Isaac, limited. Sanusi came with his hamstring, limited. And then Ardarius Washington, ankle, limited.
And a couple notes, too, just that's not on this. And with respect to week 11 and what was going on at that point last month. Remember, Big Mike Pierce was on IR then. So he was unavailable. And this is a group that maybe not hasn't wowed you from a rushing attack standpoint when you look at Pittsburgh, but you already know this is going to be a ground and pound game for both teams. And so having Big MP in the middle, along with hopefully Travis Jones being healthier, and that might be a big if than he was in Week 11, that's a welcome sight for Baltimore's interior defensive line. Now, for Pittsburgh side of things, a little bit more grave, a little bit more concerning, I guess, especially when the perennial candidate for Defensive Player of the Year, TJ Watt, is a DNP to begin his week. Now, again, Mike Tomlin has made it clear that he's optimistic that both Watt and Pickens will go, but Pickens missed last week. TJ Watt left with that ankle injury this past weekend, and both of those guys were DNPs at least to start the week, Sarah. And of course, everything is up a week, or I should say down a day because of the Saturday game. So Deshaun Elliott popped up on this list as well with a hamstring. I believe he missed this past weekend, or maybe that was Ogunjobi. Don't quote me on that. But all these guys are at least limited or DNP. Matter of fact, Ogunjobi was the only limited. He missed last weekend with a groin. The rest of these guys, some of which were just due to rest, like Cameron Hayward, their stud defensive tackle veteran, gets rest day. PQ gets a rest day. But the ones to watch, Pickens and Watt.
Two guys that if they're not there or whether they're there, the defensive unit looks two different ways, whether TJ Watt is there, and the offensive unit looks two different ways, whether Pickens there. So you best believe we will keep an eye on this and keep checking. We saw there that they gave a rest day to Patrick Queen, but that didn't mean he didn't speak to the media. Our girl Brooke Pryor, who will be here, is it Friday? She'll be here Friday?
Friday, 12:30.
Friday. She quoted Patrick Queen saying, "I'm probably going to get a lot of FUs and boos and stuff, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't want it any other way. That's football. That's competition. That's a high level of competitiveness. So I'm all for it." So you heard it. Now, I wouldn't give it any FUs, but he says he's welcoming it and all for it. So he's given the green light to Ravens fans.
Well, you know who he's going to have to deal with, Sarah, perhaps in the middle part of the field, perhaps in the red zone, is a guy who's having a resurgent season after last year's significant ankle injury that he sustained on Thursday Night Football. And that is Mark Andrews, who is, of course, coming off Sunday's performance against the Giants, the new all-time touchdowns leader in Ravens franchise history with 48, passing the great Jamal Lewis. And Kyle Van Noy, a veteran in his own right, somebody who is having potentially a career year. He has never hit the double-digit sack category, by the way, and he just recorded his 9th against the Giants. Potentially over the next 3 weeks, he'll hit that number and hit 10, which, again, he's never done. This is a 2-time Super Bowl champion, somebody that's accomplished a lot, and, of course, has that BYU blood, which I know you love. But what I love is that, not that I don't love your BYU blood, but what I really love is the way that KVN, the way that KVN builds up his peers, builds up his teammates, and that's exactly what he did in one of his most recent episodes. We already played a snippet of what he had to say about Lamar. Here's what he had to say about 89 and some of the resilience that he's seen since that car accident over the summer.
Training camp, there was 6 of us, including myself, that got into car accidents. It was wild, actually. Yeah. So I got one in one, and Mark got in one. Mark's was really scary. I'm grateful. You know, he was kind of spooked after his. It was kind of scary hearing the details and all of that. It was scary. So it was like good he was there, and then he was battling an injury. So a lot of people were hating on him at the beginning, you know, trade him. He's washed, blah, 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 blah. Now look, now who's talking? I had to shout out Mark for his 48th touchdown. He leads the Ravens organization. He is the king of the touchdown with the Ravens. Shout out to Mark Andrews. So happy to be his teammate. I love Andrews. That's my guy, and I love his speeches because you already know what type of time Mark Andrews on. He's going to let you know what type of time it is, and it's always good to play with players like that.
If you watched Hard Knocks, Kyle Van Noy was letting people know, he's letting his teammates know on the sideline that Mark Andrews broke that Ravens franchise record of touchdowns. So when he says you know, he's a big fan and wants people to know, like he was letting his teammates know, definitely on the sidelines. Bobby, before we hit quick hits, maybe we can go through some super chats and give a last call. After quick hits, which will be a little bit longer quick hits, we got a few things. After quick hits, we will declare our giveaway winner, our Homage t-shirt giveaway winner. So remember, you got to write a super chat and have hashtag Vault in there. But I'm going to pick up after John Berger, who gave us the 100 super chat. Mike M says, beat the Squealers, don't get swept, hashtag Vault. Alicia Marby says, narratives change week to week. If Lamar plays like he usually does and gets wins the rest of the way, the media will forget the race was over in week 15, hashtag Vault, hashtag MV3. Very true. Gerald Jackson, I had a dream. We scored 10 touchdowns versus the Steelers, hashtag Vault. Dreams sometimes come true. Winstones Chronicles 2019, Lamar is back. Steelers getting beat. I'll be at the bank. Go Flock Nation, hashtag Vault. Antoine Mastro says, dub on the way. Going to be a great game Saturday. I'll be watching at work, hashtag Vault. Nash Flock Dave says, let's take a moment and give thanks for a weekend filled with football, college football playoffs, and Ravens versus Steelers. Let's go, hashtag Vault. Oh my gosh, I love football. I love sports.
Some of those games will be happening simultaneously with Ravens Steelers, so it's going to be a busy Saturday.
Absolutely. Antoine comes back. Hashtag Vault, playing this game out on Madden right now.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
That's all right. JJD. Hashtag Vault. Steelers suck. Go Ravens. Keep moving along here. Adit Mahmood says, thoughts on Michael Vick coaching Norfolk State. I think we're just getting into an era where more former players are getting there. So not all great players are great coaches. Obviously, Prime has been good. Ed Reed did it for a little bit. And so I don't know what Michael Vick's coaching acumen is, but I guess we're about to find out. Jody Williams, LJ just needs to go out there and dominate and play his game. O-line needs to play clean and we win. Hashtag Vault. Aline Nolan, hashtag Vault. Henry stiff arm to Queen. Yes. Joy Walker, 55 means child please. Let boy buy. Like, boy, bye. It's a culture thing. LOL, Bobby. Love you guys. Hashtag Vault.
Sizzle. Child, please. I thought it said chill, please. Child, please.
Oh, yeah, no,
okay.
child, please.
Thank you,
but without pronouncing the D. I didn't notice you said that, but I did know that.
Well, it was
the
written
way it was spelled,
as Chile.
It looked like chili a little bit.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for the heads up.
Good to put it out there. Thank you, Joy. Taylor, Ravens won't let them celebrate on our field. Hashtag Vault. I sure hope not. Malston 23, hashtag Vault. LJ better than Josh. LJ has been consistent. Malston comes back. Hashtag Vault. Bills have an easier schedule and conference. I think you mean division, and that's true. Lee Early Wine, Josh Allen threw 9 for 30 against Texans, worst completion percentage in 30 years with a minimum of 30 throws, hashtag Vault. So he was clarifying where that 9 of 13 stat came from earlier. Darlene Harris, we got this, hashtag Vault, hashtag Ravens. Gary Eaton, Saturday game, guess I'll have to day drink, hashtag Vault. Jemmy 93, a lot of going for it on fourth down, huh, Sarah, hashtag Vault. That's right. Do not kick it from 50 with Justin in this game. 4th and 1, let's go. Ravens Girl 2023, hashtag Vault, feeling positive about upcoming game. We got this. LaMarvelous MV3, hashtag Vault. John Berger back. He's spending money today. Josh can only decrease his stock. Lamar can only increase his stock, is why I'm saying MVP is negligent. That's true. Joy Walker, everyone needs some haters. Lamar has plenty to go. Get them Lamar MV3 and SB MVP 2025. I like where your head's at, Joy. Frank Brady, always love the big sis, Lil Bro energy. Merry Christmas to you and your families. How about on-air gift exchange? Hashtag Vault.
We'll be open to that. We'll definitely be open to that.
I already know what I would get you.
All right. I don't even want to know.
Joy coming in with another super chat. Hashtag Vault. Captain Hard. Hashtag Vault. Go Flock. Go. Captain Hard. We will win by 2 touchdowns. Calling it now. Hashtag Vault. And here we go. Rave Kingdom. Ben Cleveland with an en fuego emoji, #vault, and we are all caught up. You want to get us started on quick hits here?
I have to say the live chat was very, very, very entertaining throughout that entire stretch for a number of reasons.
Wait, why? Just say why real quick.
There's just a lot of chatter going in on there. I'm being called hood. I'm getting ripped for not knowing what Sis said. You're getting ripped for the way you pronounce Norfolk. I think the folks that are in Virginia refer to it as Norfolk. Which
I'm not saying that.
Well, yeah, that's the way they pronounce it down here. But and
it's
then
true. I'm not from Virginia. I apologize.
A number of other things here, and this is hilarious. Tila wants me to swoop my hair back to the front. I'm going to quick hits and getting the heck out of here. Schefter says Patrick Mahomes was listed as a full participant on Tuesday. Same thing for Marquise Brown, who has yet to play this year for Kansas City. And then some context, though, to that full participant listing for Mahomes. It was just a light practice that the Chiefs conducted. And today is going to be similar, according to Shefty. They got 3 games in 11 days, and obviously they're going to try and be careful with number 15, Sarah, because of, well, what they have in front of them and what they're trying to do, which has never been done before in the league, which is, of course, the three-peat.
Just a little bit more from Patrick Mahomes. He was asked about his injury. He said his foot has responded, or his ankle has responded well to treatment. He says, you have to push it. That's the reason why you play this game, to push, to play. I'm not going out to put our team in a bad position. It's about seeing where I'm at. I'm a competitor. I want to go out there and play. And he went on to say that this is not the worst ankle injury he had. He said it was worse back in 2022 postseason. He said Jacksonville was worse. That one was pretty significant, the way I got caught underneath. Obviously, it has responded better, quicker. So I need this good news. I mean, I wouldn't mind if he took this Houston game off, but he's got to play against the Steelers on Christmas Day. That has to happen because the Ravens need the Steelers to both lose against the Ravens and Steelers. So my prediction is that he'll play, mostly because he always plays even after he looks hobbled.
I would agree.
While we're talking about Patrick, I just have to put this in. Bleacher Report always puts out their Gridiron Heights cartoons, okay, usually about quarterbacks, sometimes other stuff. And I just found yesterday's very amusing. And I would like to see if you also find it amusing. We're going to play it. This is the people versus the Kansas City Chiefs. And so they're going to court, and Lamar Jackson is the lead lawyer for the plaintiffs against the defendants, which are the Kansas City Chiefs. Here we go.
These have joined together against a common enemy. This is the people versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Dun dun!
Your Honor, there is concern the media's on their side.
Well, they do have stars.
Nah, I mean, they're literally defended by Chris Collinsworth.
Wow! Look at that no-look poor. I tell ya, this kid's special.
Plaintiff's call, Mr. Justin Herbert.
Game was ours, bro. But I don't understand that.
You blame the Chiefs, but Mr. Likely, what is this white substance by your foot?
I've never seen that before.
Likely's story.
Sup, player?
We were in field goal range. The game was ours to win.
But we didn't, did we?
It was my fault. I fumbled the snap. I did it.
I moved to strike.
Overruled. Not what that means.
Plaintiff's call. The literal devil to stand. Now, Mr. the Devil, did you or did you not make a deal with the Chiefs?
I ain't never seen these guys in my life.
Dismissed.
Thanks for the Eras tickets, Travis. My daughter loved it. Mike, still up for dinner later?
I'll take it from here, Chris. Folks, think back not so long ago. Remember when I was spawned? Is it possible you hate us because you ain't us?
Whoa. How did we miss that?
Objection! The Chiefs.
You can't handle the Chiefs!
Order! The jury finds the Chiefs guilty. After further review, that call is overturned. Chiefs win!
And with a high ankle sprain. That's what makes Patrick Mahomes Patrick Mahomes.
Bobby from the no-look poor that Chris Collinsworth is like drooling over, as he always does when Patrick Mahomes plays, to the devil coming out being like, never seen him before, hey, thanks for the tickets to Taylor Swift. Mike Tomlin's appearance where he's like, no, don't pretend you know me. Don't pretend you know me. And then the jury finds them guilty, but you have an overturn from the refs. Like, that whole thing was gold. It was hilarious. And I just want to put on record, I am not one of those script people that the referees cheat for them. I don't believe any of that, but that was funny.
Collinsworth was not only spot on with the image, the cartoon image, but the voice was not far off either.
Yeah.
Lamar's image was down pat. His voice was so far off, it's not even funny.
Yeah, it was bad.
So,
yeah. Oh, that was good. Sorry.
how you doing on time? Do we want to omit any quick hits, or how we doing?
Let me see what we got here. What do we got? Just a quick DVOA.
And
the
while you cue that up,
Yeah.
just the final call.
Yeah.
If you want to get your super chats in for today's Homage t-shirt giveaway with the hashtag Vault, drop those super chats in now because the giveaway is coming up in just a couple minutes.
Right. So DVOA, which measures how well you're playing above the average of the NFL team. The Ravens are number 1 in the league right now. And they're the best 9-5 team ever in DVOA. And he says in here, he has said elsewhere that the Bills would be on this list if they only considered the second half of the season. So that's how hot they've become. But look at how many 9-5 teams, Bobby, with the highest DVOA went on to win the Super Bowl, including the 2012 Baltimore Ravens. Look at how many W's. Look over here to the right. These are the 9-5 teams with the highest DVOA. There's a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 teams, and 9 of them went on to win the Super Bowl. Just wanted to point that out. And Bobby, I am no longer in a hurry. Somehow my son got a ride home. He just came in front of my door and said, I'm home. So I am no longer in a hurry to get out.
Nice.
As we know, the Falcons have announced that they are benching Kirk Cousins. They put that statement out, and as Adam Schefter kind of put that in context, that means that they signed Kirk Cousins to a 4-year, $180 million contract with $90 million fully guaranteed. And if they do not use him again after this, they will have paid him $90 million guaranteed for 14 games. And while I'm glad that the Falcons made an idiot decision to not pursue Lamar Jackson, let's just remember that he was there to at least try to get. Falcons owner at the time said there's no question Lamar is one of the top QBs in the league. Looking at it objectively, which is not objective if you look at the data, there is some concern about whether or not he can play this style of game for how long he can last. Hopefully a long time, but he's missed 5-6 games of each of the last 2 years. And Bobby, he's been pretty darn healthy since he signed that contract. Sorry, we're not sorry that you lost out on him, and now you paid $90 million for 14 games.
Kirk's got the best representation in the world.
Indeed.
This dude has been on a run when it comes to guaranteed money, and now Atlanta's decision to draft Michael Penix Jr. in the first round looking a little bit better than it did a few months ago. They caught a lot of heat for that, and now they're going to him on a primetime game. That game was just flexed this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. I saw that. So big one for the Falcons. They're still very much in the race, and now a rookie is going to make his debut under the primetime lights with a lot to play for. How about the fact that Lamar Jackson entering Week 16 has 2 of the top highest separators percentage-wise when it comes to playmakers and pass catchers league-wide. Rashad Bateman, Sarah, entering Week 16, leads the league with the highest separation percentage, over 75.17 to be exact. Zay Flowers also in the top 10 at 7th overall at 67.36%. Some pretty good company here as well with Mike Evans and Malik Neighbors being between those two. But big play bait, Sarah, is not something that folks should scoff at anymore. That's a legitimate nickname that he has earned so far this year.
Absolutely. Good for them. I love that Lamar has that. In other news, the Browns are making a change at quarterback also. Dorian Thompson-Robinson is now going to start, and Jameis Winston will be going to the bench. And I'm kind of sad about it, mostly because I love his quotes. I love listening to him on TV. I love his energy. And I love that the Browns keep losing. So, but he will now be sat, and they're going to go to their third string quarterback.
I'm sad for Nick Chubb. He broke his foot. His season's done. He busted his butt to try and get back from a really serious knee injury the year prior, and now he's down. So really tough times in Cleveland, obviously bleak times. And we all remember DTR's first career start, don't we? It was last year against the Ravens, and they roughed him up. Probably going to see him again in just a few weeks from now in the regular season finale, which is January 5th. And that is a game that's going to be in Baltimore. Game day threads, purple on purple, 4:30 inside the bank.
Wish
this
they
Saturday.
had that purple helmet with it.
Make your plans accordingly. 4:30 Saturday. Fox Sports, A-Team, Burkhardt, Brady, Rinaldi, Andrews. Going to be a big one for not all the marbles, but for Pittsburgh. If you want to win the division, all you got to do is beat the Ravens, and that would be a season sweep, and they will have won 9 of their last 10 and 5 in a row if they do that. So this is really a non-negotiable for the Ravens. You got to win this for a number of reasons. Keep the AFC North alive. Keep your respect alive when it comes to this rivalry as well.
Improve your seating so that if you do meet up with the Steelers again, which is very likely, that you can have them at home again. MVP conversation, so much. It's a huge. This is about as big as it gets as a non-playoff game.
We will give super chatters 1 more minute to get their comments in before we pick a winner and rattle off the last of them. We have 66 super chats today. That's got to be flirting with a record. So thank you guys for being here. Over 2,500 of you concurrently watching, and we're about to do our Wednesday Homage t-shirt giveaway in just a short while here. Rossi Clark and Mzaso, thank you both for believing in what we're building. And by the way, Rico keeps dropping in hashtag vaults, and I keep deleting his comments because that is a no-no. Rossi and Mzaso, thank you both for believing in what we're building. We appreciate you for being part of the Vault Patreon community. And if you guys are interested in joining as well, you can do so for as little as $1.99 by visiting patreon.com/Ravens Vault podcast. It's a big part of what we do. It goes directly towards our daily efforts, our year-round efforts to bring you Ravens content. If you'd like to show your appreciation, we would love for you to go learn more. Partner, you want to rip off the ones where we left off and then pick a winner?
Yep, here we go. Gabe Caesar, Free Ben Cleveland, hashtag Vault. Chris M, since the ladies are in here today, hashtag Vault. Nice. OG Pearl ED, is that what I'm doing? Pearled? OG Pearled? Whoa, dummy. LJ Masterclass on Saturday, hashtag Vault. Jerry forgot to put hashtag Vault. Asmodeus might be a Tidewater thing. I pronounce it Norfolk. Do I pronounce the L?
Not local. Well,
Norfolk? What am I supposed to do?
The Virginians, feel free to correct me, and I won't say it again just because just keep us all comfortable here. But the way that I pronounced it earlier on in the show, I believe is the way that locals that are from Nora to be.
Is it really the F-bomb?
I think so, right, Asmodeus? Isn't it? I think so.
Okay, well, all right. Okay, moving along. E-Man Watts, hashtag Vault. Gabe Caesar, it's a 7 cities and 252 pronunciation, hashtag Vault. Go Lady Ravens, hashtag Vault. Thank you, Joy. Leo Morris, Lamar will toss another Jackson 5 this weekend. People are feeling optimistic. Jerry Dunham says the Ravens must bring it against the Squealers on Saturday. We must not beat ourselves with penalties, turnovers, or by being outcoached, hashtag Vault. Amen. Jose says Tucker will be automatic in this game, hashtag Vault. Oh, let that be true. Rodrigo says putting my bets in Lamar MVP, Derek Super Bowl MVP. Oh. E-Man Watts, what did I miss today? Hashtag Vault. We rewatch gang. Yeah, you got to go back and rewatch. The Mitchell fam, Lamar has nothing to worry about. Haven't watched Hard Knocks yet. What are those emojis? I don't know what those are.
What are those?
They remind me of I'm not going to get the names right, but when I would go to temples in Japan, you know,
I was literally about to say Thailand. The exact
oh yeah,
same
like
thing.
Thailand type thing. Yeah, I haven't
And
been to Thailand. I just remember
Chinese arch. Mike says Chinese arches.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Well, we're kind of the Mitchell fam hashtag Vault Go Virginia classes. Evan, wide receivers deserve flowers. They deserve a lot of credit for Lamar's progression as a passer. He's always had the ability, just needed weapons. Hashtag Vault. Love it. Rodrigo, PQ gonna be put on his back from Henry. Hashtag Vault. And Dreams. Hashtag Vault. I think we're all caught up, Bobby.
What up, Queon? 71 of you dropped in super chat donations. Thank you so much for all the support. As we've mentioned a couple times now, Homage makes this possible. We will be doing more giveaways in the coming Wednesdays. Next week will be a Friday giveaway, so mark your calendars accordingly for that one. And Sarah, I think it's time to randomly pick a winner with the system that we have in place.
Yes, I just want to say I'm seeing people say Norfolk.
Well, I think they're censoring it for you.
Oh, okay. Well, I can say Norfolk. Okay, and one other thing is the chat had me on the Beastmaster stuff. They saw that. They get it. They get where I'm coming from. Okay.
And one other thing too.
Yes.
I wanted to mention earlier on, we are getting to that time of year, hence why it's 120 and we're just getting to our giveaway now, where there's an overabundance of content. And so we often really rely on you guys because we're a one-man, one-woman band here in a lot of ways when we gather our content. So goes without saying, if you could tweet us, email us, hit us up wherever across all social media platforms, BaltimoreRavensVault@gmail.com. When you are consuming content that you feel like would be a good fit for the show, we'd love to hear from you.
I already saw in the chat they wanted Kimberly Martin from First Take today, so we'll check that out.
Just like you mentioned, Hard Knocks. We omitted a number of things on the pre-show. Like it's just it's insane.
It's another level. Okay, there are 49 official entries because of the hashtag Vault as a super chat. So here, I forgot to share my screen. I'm sitting here keeping it to myself. Share screen. Boom, here it comes. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, draw. All right. Slow it down. Greg, Sherry, Milston, Greg, Rico, Rodrigo, Kevin, Gabe, Joy, Sherry. Oh, Gerald Jackson.
I'm going to go find it.
Yeah, find what he said. I thought it was going to stop on Sherry there.
Congrats, Gerald.
Congrats, Gerald.
Sherry's got to be feeling some type of way because it sat there for an extra second.
It did sit there.
And Gerald said, I had a dream. We scored 10 touchdowns versus the Steelers. Hashtag Vault. Let's see if that was the only one.
I like the way you said, look at Sherry. She's in here, man.
Sherry's
and
not
I also
pleased.
liked the MLK kind of pronunciation you had on there with the I had a dream.
January's right around the corner. MLK Day can never come too early. Hopefully I did him justice there. I probably not, but
chat's throwing a flag on me. They said I had a false start with Sherry.
Oh, that's
there.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Gerald. We see you in the comments mixing it up all the time, and all you have to do is the following to get this done. One, like the video and send us a screenshot via email. What I'll do right now is make sure that the email, you can find it in the show notes, but you can also see it in the ticker right now. It's BaltimoreRavensVault@gmail.com. So go throw that into your recipient and then give us the following: a screenshot that you like the video, a screenshot that you've subscribed. We're pretty sure you do. You're here all the time. But just so that for our receipt purposes, pick out a t-shirt, go to the website that we have included as a pinned comment. It's also in the top of the show notes, homage.com/Sarah and Bobby. Give us your size that you'd like for that t-shirt and a shipping address. Anything else, Sarah, that we need from him?
I think that's it.
Okay. So email us.
Did he give us, did you say size, the size of the t-shirt?
I did. The size and a specific link to the shirt that you want, or a screenshot of the shirt that you want, a shipping address, and then just, obviously receipts that you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks, Gerald.
Congrats, Gerald. Good job.
Next giveaway, as we've mentioned a couple times now, but just in case you hadn't heard, will be Friday. It won't be a week from today, meaning we're not going to do a noon live show on Christmas Day for obvious reasons. It's game day. We may not even have anything drop at noon. We got to get there when we get there.
Yeah.
But obviously
we will do a post-game Christmas show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I may very well be pregame that day. We'll see. So,
oh, look at you.
Yeah. I'm actually staying here in Baltimore. Francis is going to come down. My father's coming down to. He's going to fly down, and then it's just my mom's having anybody and everybody at the house, which is great. I'm happy that she is, but it's just not going to be an optimal working condition. So, that's my plan there, and I think that just about does it for us. Like you said, Brooke Pryor will join us for her Steelers perspective on Friday at 12:30. It's a 4:30 kickoff on Saturday. I'll be at the Be More Around Town tailgate, which I'm sure gets going at like 11 or noon. So you can get your passes at BeMoreAroundTown.com. The place is going to be rocking. And then you and I will be live probably at like, I don't know, 8 o'clock maybe, somewhere between 7 and 8 o'clock, depending on when the game itself finishes up. So we're looking forward to that. There will be a pullout today. When we say that, is a brand new playlist that we have. It's called The Best Of. Shortened segments, essentially, of our hour-plus long content. It's for the shorter consumption habit folks of you out there. Typically somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes. So go check that out on our homepage on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Like the video. Do all those things that are super helpful for us. And if you want to join the Vault Patreon community, you can do so by visiting patreon.com/RavensVault podcast. Anything else on your end, partner?
Great show. Great day. Congrats to Gerald. And I look forward to tomorrow because there's already an abundance of content. So it'll just keep getting bigger. This is a massive, massive, massive week.
Live chat's got a dirty mind, man. You guys just got a dirty, dirty mind. Unbelievable.
I don't give that oxygen.
I can't
everything is a pause these days. Everything.
Oh, man, that was a lot of fun. Glad you guys could join us. And again, Sarah and I will be back as always, under 23 hours from now for a Thursday. Thursday Ravens lunch hour live stream. So we're looking forward to catching up with you then. Thanks to Homage for this continued support. If you'd like to support us, a great way to do so is supporting our brand sponsor. You can click on the pinned comment in the live chat to learn more. Get that gift giving done, even if it is last minute. It's a link in the top of the show notes as well. Congratulations to Gerald. We look forward to hearing from you via email. And for Sarah, I'm Bobby signing off. We appreciate you guys as always, and we'll catch up with you soon here inside the vault.